This is Wrigley Field, Chicago. When the NFL was formed in 1919, the Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers were issued charters, forming the longest and most colorful rivalry in pro football history. Today, the two would renew that rivalry for the 102nd time. Bears coach Jim Dooley has seen a dismal year go by in which his team has managed only one victory, despite the irony of possessing two of the greatest players in the game. Dick Butkus, number 51, is a living legend, perhaps the best defensive ball player in existence, and the heart and soul of a rough Bear defense. Equally legendary is Gale Sayers, who made an astonishing recovery from knee surgery to lead the league in rushing and continue his march into the Hall of Fame. Despite these two superstars, the Bears have been unable to win. The Packers are in a similar quandary. Players like Starr, Nitschke, Wood are no longer their hope. Rather, Bankston is counting on young players like Travis Williams to carry on the tradition in Titletown. So the 50th year of pro football brought together two teams who faced the challenge of becoming winners once again. I'm Jack Whitaker, and this is the NFL Game of the Week. This oldest series in the NFL got underway when rookie running back Dave Hampton, number 25, exploded through left tackle and raced 53 yards deep into Chicago territory. A repeat of the run shows a key block on number 37, George Youngblood, by Travis Williams. Williams and Hampton both are young and exceptionally swift. It is they who carry the running load for Green Bay, and along with Donnie Anderson, give the pack depth at setback. The Packer momentum was quickly put to halt by number 51, Dick Butkus. First, he stopped Travis Williams cold. Then, even though number 68, Gail Gillingham, steamrolled the cornerback, Hampton couldn't get around right end. The reason was again number 51. An isolated view of the great Bear linebacker on the play shows his tremendous lateral pursuit. This is just one characteristic that makes Butkus one of the greatest to ever play the game. On yet another attempt by the Green Bay runners, Butkus knifed through to thwart Williams again, this time from behind. This forced quarterback Don Horn to pass on third down from the Chicago 27, and it gave another member of the Bear defense a chance to shine. 8-year veteran Ed Obradovich hit Horn just as he was passing. A field goal attempt by Booth Lustig from the 34 was wide to the left, and Chicago had stopped the first Packer thrust. When the Bears got the ball, it first appeared that they too would have no trouble moving. Virgil Carter was at quarterback, and he scrambled for a first down on the Chicago 46. Next, Gale Sayers, running beautifully, weaved 14 yards to the Green Bay 40. A look at the run from field level shows Sayers as he cut through a hole, juked the cornerback off his feet, and then was hauled down from behind by number 89, Dave Robinson. Not many linebackers can catch Sayers from behind. But Bear fortune changed as Carter's first pass of the day sailed through Dick Gordon's hands. Then Carter lateraled to Mike Hull, who dropped the ball. And though he recovered, the downtrend continued. Carter went to the sweep, which Sayers runs so well. But Robinson met him hard at the line and held on until Herb Adderley, number 26, came up to help. Chicago had to give up possession. On their first play after the punt, Horn screened to Travis Williams, who raced down the left sideline for a first down before being forced out of bounds. A repeat reveals why Williams went out. Although Packer blockers took 3 shots at Butkus, he shook them off and prevented Williams from turning in. Butkus almost made the tackle himself. With 1st and 10 on the Green Bay 32, a long pass for Williams was incomplete, but a pushing penalty on number 26, Benny McCray, gave Green Bay a 28-yard gain and a first down. The Packers were now on Chicago's 40. Then the Bear defense asserted itself again. The Butkus boys stacked up Green Bay's fine runners with little yardage, and the Pack had to try for 3 points. Lustig's 42-yard attempt hit the crossbar for a touchback, and fittingly, it was number 51 who gleefully retrieved the ball. Over 45,000 fans were being treated to a pounding defensive duel by 2 teams who long have been synonymous with basic, brutal football. Again, the Bears couldn't move on offense as the Packers kept Sayers in check. On 3rd down, Carter went to the air, but the pass was broken up on a great save by Adderley. A repeat shows that Carter was pressured by number 87, Willie Davis. The 5-time All-Pro is retiring this year after 12 seasons as one of the finest defensive ends in the game. The first quarter ended with neither team scoring. For most of the second quarter, booming Packer punts kept Chicago with their backs to their goal, and Sayers' running couldn't extract them. In one instance, Chicago made the punt something more than a defensive weapon when a Bobby Joe Green fake kick netted 19 yards and an infrequent first down. Altogether, there were only 9 first downs in the entire half and only 61 yards gained passing by both teams. Another look at the fake shows Green's target, number 21, Cecil Turner, was completely open on the surprise play. If the punter had led Turner with the pass, the fleet flanker might have escaped entirely. But on this day, defense prevailed. A 3rd down pass was broken up by Doug Hart, number 43, in the end zone. Intended receiver Gordon was double-teamed by Hart and Bob Jeter. Mac Percival's field goal try from the 28 was wide. It was Percival who beat the Packers last year on a free kick with 32 seconds left in the game. This game remained a shutout. Chicago was not alone in offensive futility. In the entire second quarter, Green Bay couldn't get a thing going. Their talented setbacks were stopped cold. Dave Hampton fumbled on this carry, and Benny McRae recovered. The Chicago defense was playing at its peak before packed Wrigley Field. The isolated camera reveals Hampton's miscue wasn't accidental. The culprit was none other than the ubiquitous Mr. Butkus, who hooked Hampton's arm. Just before the gun sounded, the Packers had possession again, and the fifth successful pass of the half was completed. It was to Boyd Dowler, who took it between three Bears on the 44. Green Bay just had time for a crack at 3 points, but Chicago needn't have worried. It seemed that in this half at least, it was destined that neither team score. Lustig's third attempt never got in the air as the Bears poured through to block the kick as the half ended in a scoreless tie. Both quarterbacks had completed only 2 passes each. The Bear punter won. There had been a total of 12 kicks, 8 punts, and 4 futile field goal attempts. Defense prevailed in Chicago. The Bears opened the second half with Virgil Carter on the bench, having been unable to move his team. Bobby Douglas, number 14, would now try to lead the Bears to victory. But Douglas would fare no better than Carter, and his first pass of the game was almost intercepted, as the Bears once again failed to move at all. Don Horn, on the other hand, immediately led the pack to a touchdown. After Williams lost a yard on a flare pass, Horn hit tight end Marv Fleming, number 81, who escaped Butkus and carried to the Bears' 39. The power sweep is legend in Green Bay. Horn called it on the next play, and Travis Williams really made it work. 39 yards and a touchdown. A repeat shows that Williams picked his hole perfectly and turned it on once through the hole off right tackle. After a half of no scoring, Green Bay had suddenly bolted to a 7-0 lead in only 3 quick plays. The Bears were having problems moving forward at all. The next time they had the ball, Douglas lost 14 yards attempting to pass. On a repeat, watch Packer right tackle Bob Brown, number 78, as he hand fights his man and beats him to Douglas for the tackle. Sayers tried his best on 3rd and 24, but a gang tackle stopped him far short of the first, and another series ended for Chicago. Don Horn was hot and calling a beautiful game now, mixing his plays like his teacher Bart Starr had counseled. Donnie Anderson took this pass, beat 2 defenders, and raced 49 yards to the Bears' 7 before Joe Taylor finally caught him. On a repeat, we see a real sucker play work perfectly. A fake pitch to the right drew the whole defense over, allowing Anderson to get his jump on the secondary. Donnie's speed did the rest. Anderson almost went from hero to goat on 1st down at the 7, and number 37, George Youngblood, demonstrated his disappointment in the result. Then on 2nd and goal from the 10, with 6 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the quarter, Horn would again cross up the Bears with a pass to Fleming, who had snuck behind the secondary. Touchdown Packers, their 2nd in 4 minutes. Our isolated camera follows Butkus on a repeat as he anticipated the pass but couldn't get between the ball and the receiver in time. In 3 plays, Horn took the Pack 55 yards, and they now lead 14-0. They were not through yet in the 3rd quarter. Looking at the kickoff from the returner's point of view, the Bears' Cecil Turner almost took it back all the way. But the Packer defense seemed to be inspired by Horn's heroics, and again stopped Sayers and the Bears cold, not letting Sayers see a shiver of daylight. When he tried to go wide, Douglas' pitch out missed him, and only a great save by Douglas himself prevented a Packer recovery. On a repeat of the play, we can see that Douglas saved himself after a bad toss with his own alertness and picked up a yard to boot. But on 3rd and 5, his luck ran out. Behind good protection by number 71, Rufus Mays, Douglas dropped back and fired for Turner. Willie Wood's interception and run back gave Green Bay yet another opportunity to add to the score. The ball now on the 40. Horn again called on Travis Williams to help him out, and the 23-year-old mighty burner from Arizona State raced 60 yards to a touchdown with Horn's pass. A repeat shows how devastating Williams can be. Horn bumped into his own man on his drop back, but recovered and fired to Williams, who turned it on and beat number 23, Dick Daniels, in a classic foot race to the end zone. No one can catch the mighty burner, who runs a 9.300 and was single-handedly destroying the Bears. And now let's see what happened to Mr. Butkus on the touchdown. Butkus again read the play correctly and dropped back to cover. But a linebacker's desire will never beat a 9.3 sprinter. Green Bay was now making it look easy, having scored 21 points in 12 minutes, while the Bears still had yet to score. The Bears finally mounted a drive in their last series of the quarter, with help from Mr. Sayers on the kickoff that set the Bears up at their own 34. Douglas then managed a nice scramble to the 45. Sayers finally broke through for a good gain and proved that no defense can really stop him cold. We can watch what happens to a lineman trying to get a good shot at Sayers as the isolated camera shows Willie Davis's frustrating effort to stop number 40. Sayers ended up with 6 yards. Davis ended up nursing his bruises as the quarter ended. Douglas continued to move the Bears on this drive as the final 15 minutes began. He is an excellent runner and seems more at home with the ball cradled in his arms than over the center. But here the drive stalled, though Douglas was not at fault. He does throw a heavy ball, and both Cecil Turner and Dick Gordon couldn't hold his rifle shots on second and third downs. So Mac Percival salvaged the drive with a field goal, and the Bears were finally on the board. The rest of the game yielded no more points, but the action was still fast and furious, characterized by grudging defensive play. Butkus and the Bears stopped Green Bay on their only 2 series in this quarter by intercepting 2 of Horn's passes. Butkus made the first, as he diagnosed the pass perfectly, then rumbled downfield like a fullback on the return. The All-Pro linebacker was literally all over the field today, as always, and further demonstrated why many call him the finest football player in the game today, offensively or defensively. Then, late in the game, the Bears stopped another threat near their own goal line. Rookie Perry Williams, number 31, a 220-pound back from Purdue, was contained by the Bear line. Then Dick Daniels came up with an interception in the end zone to end the drive. But the Bears could do absolutely nothing offensively, as Douglas, Sayers, and the Bears again had met their match. The Packers had only to run out the clock to preserve their 21-3 victory, and this they did using their good young backs, especially Dave Hampton, to do so. When the inevitable finally happened, Green Bay had its 7th win, ensuring them of another 500 or better year. The Packers have a proud heritage, but with Horn, Hampton, Williams, and others, their greatness is now not in the past, but in the future. For the people of Chicago, high hopes before the season began have been reduced to a mere shadow of a dream, hopefully to be rekindled once again in 1970.